Namaste, sentient being, citizen of Gotham. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2015. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in. Hope all of you are doing well. A couple articles from ANP about JADE, HELM, bloodbath. Experts prepare for massive collapse, distortions getting worse, and much more dangerous. Gregory Manarino. I probably butchered that. Manarino. Anyway, by Susan Duckles. For months, experts have been warning the general public by words and deeds that a massive collapse was coming, and we are on the verge of seeing this prediction come through. The warning is in December. ANP reported on elite stockpiling food, medicines, weapons, ammunition, cash, and more into their underground bunkers in preparation for a major catastrophe. In January, stock market guru Crispin Adi warned of an upcoming bloodbath, telling people not to panic but to quickly diversify. And we found out that the panic super rich were quietly bulling up bolt holes. Anyway, and private airstrips to escape if poor rise up. I should say if the poor rise up. By March, multiple hedge fund managers and financial experts such as Sam Zeal, Carl Icahn, and Stan Druckenmiller warned that something has to give and declared they were very nervous, while billionaires such as George Soros, the piece of shit that he is, took steps to prepare for the coming calamity. Search engines bring up dozens and dozens of warnings by financial experts over the last months, and all indicative of something big on the horizon, and a number of recent warnings show us the much talked about collapse is on the doorstep and will make 2008 look like a walk in the park, and those who are unprepared will be hit the hardest. The end is near. Recently, trader Gregory Manarino accurately predicted to the day that there would be a short-term stock market rally regardless of the Greek debt issue, and one day later, his prediction proved to be on the money. Despite the short-term rally, just a day later, CNBC reported that the so-called smart money is pulling back from the market risk with fund managers taking down exposure to stocks, increasing cash holdings, and buying protection against a sharp sell-off. On June 22nd, 2015, Bloomberg Business drops a bombshell. Major money manager braces for bond market collapse. In that article, we see TWC Group Incorporated, which oversees almost $140 billion of U.S. debt, in taking the responsibility of bond market sell-off seriously. It has been accumulating more and more cash in its credit funds, and the proportion rising to the highest since the 2008 crisis. In that article, they speak of the distorted markets, to which Gregory Manarino explains that about in the video below in a manner that those that are not investors, trading, or financial gurus can actually understand, where he details how the Federal Reserve distortions are getting worse and much more dangerous. The bottom line is that the Federal Reserve and central banks are running out of the way to manipulate the system, and the global economy is likely a runaway train that is getting ready to crash into a brick wall called reality, as Crispin Adi implied back in January. It's going to be a bloodbath. Well, it's just talking about the stock market crash, and that's because they want to crash the dollar and go to a credit system where everything is electronic, so that will make sense. Truck driver exposed to JADE, HELM deception, warns of enormous amount of military equipment being moved under the cover of darkness. Oh, you think darkness is your ally. So anyway, all across the country, Americans have been bearing witness to a massive buildup of military vehicles, convoys, and equipment from coast to coast, and in the first video below, just released on YouTube by 17176, we get to hear from a truck driver owner named Lou, who tells us the enormous amount of military equipment that is being transported under the cover of darkness via independent truckers like himself using unmarked vehicles. Below the video, we also learned that the United States military occupying Ocala, Florida, by the hundreds of the Ocala posts. We see the image above taken in Texas, which shows that we have been told is equipment to store both weaponry and ammunition and anything sensitive and of value. More of this equipment was also recently cited in Alabama, as seen as the image at the bottom of the story. We also hear about a worst-case scenario, possibly, of U.S. and foreign troops being used to prevent Americans from leaving devastated areas, as well as hearing about strange military convoys in Alabama. Well, what would be the devastating areas of it? Well, it would be dirty bomb or earthquake, some type of quote-unquote natural disaster, which is man-made. So this is the video. According to Ocala Post, in Ocala, Florida, residents shouldn't be too concerned about the military takeover of Ocala, and it's only part of Operation Guardian that will culminate on June 25th, 2015. In Ocala, hundreds of military weapons can be seen lining the streets, as seen in the picture below, but the military says there's nothing to fear, it's just a training exercise. While the Ocala Post contacted the military asking if these exercises can actually has anything to do with the JADE HELM 15. The military hadn't yet responded. We also learned below of a military convoy in Alabama where the soldiers involved weren't quite so happy and were acting quite strange, according to the Stephen Quayle alert republished in the full below next video. Should say republished below in the next full video. Anyway. In the second video from InfoWars, Alex Jones, that piece of shit, breaks down what's unfolding in America and warns us that every Western government is preparing for collapse and tells us what he believes the global endgame is, the complete subjugation and enslavement of the people, and at least those who don't kill off, they don't kill off completely. Jones's warning that the peak of the collapse is to occur by 2025 is backed up by Deagle.com, whose website tells us that by the year 2025, according to population, will be down by 254 million to 65 million people and 319 million in 2014. Where will 250 million people go in less than 10 years? Our GDP per capita will be down from 13,591 from 54,800 in 2014. Imagine trying to pay your family's bills on 13,591. Well, I'm in that tax bracket, unfortunately. But anyway, so these are two videos about, two articles about the demise of stuff. I'll put the link in for Deagle.com. So Alex Jones, I don't care for him. Of course, everyone has listened to him at one point and liked him. When I first started listening to him, I was like, wow, this guy's pretty cool. It didn't really take me long. I'm not going to go into how long because people think I'm trying to be smart or wise, but it didn't take me too long to realize he was a piece of shit. If you know people and you listen to, I've been around so many people in my life that talk so much, you learn people that talk are full of shit, in short. So he talks a lot, and he's always promoted fear, fear, fear. He's been promoting the same thing for 30 years now. Eventually it'll come true, and it's not because he predicted it, it's just because he knows about it to a certain extent. He's married to a Zionist to begin with, so he has privy information. But with his propaganda, there is a lot of disinformation, and through disinformation you can learn things. Once you learn how to discern, you can start realizing that what they say one way, they mean the opposite. So, not that this is the opposite, that they're trying to crash the dollar, they want to go through, eliminate the cash system and go to an electronic system. But again, the comments that they're using here, or the reference to him using these comments, is off of Deagle.com, which is a government site or some site that has privy information to the government. Like I said, I'll put that in. It's pretty disturbing. First of all, if you look at it, it's another crazy article about the elite are preparing for a zombie apocalypse. We are the Walking Dead to them, and they are mocking us. Susan Dolkos writes about, I read most of this, about how that they're doing all these training exercises with the armed forces about a zombie apocalypse. Why they'd be training for this? And it started from 2012. It's been the last 3 years they've been doing it. Makes absolutely no sense. It's so strange, unless they know something. And like I've said in a lot of my other videos, even though I read through the other two very manically, as I always do, because I'm trying to get through these things fast, because people don't have a very high attention span, and after a couple of minutes they zone out. But anyway, I've said numerous times that they're probably going to have some type of flesh-eating disease come back, which they've had before, and then they had that stupid zombie stuff where they were saying that it was bath salts, which I don't believe at all. I think that was complete psyop, all malarkey. I think that was an actual test of this zombie flu virus that they have, where it drives people crazy and it makes them think they have to attack people and bite people. I don't know if they actually try to eat the flesh and all that. It might just be something where you freak out and messes your mind up, obviously, to a certain extent, where you actually attack someone and start biting them. It doesn't mean that you're actually trying to eat them per se, but they'll say this is some type of zombie virus that's going around. They could blame it on dogs, because they've been saying dogs now can carry viruses. They can blame it on an avian way, meaning birds, or they can maybe go through simian, like Planet of the Apes was a simian virus. So there are different ways they can do it, meaning the powers that be that have all these weaponized vaccines and stuff, viruses. So I wouldn't doubt it. I'd read through the article if you want to go through it. It's just insane reading this, that they're actually practicing against this, and it involves also the CDC. It's very strange. It's also telling, because like I said, for the said reasons I just went over, but you might want to peruse that site. The link will be in the description box. This one is the 2nd Cavalry in Texas, military train loaded down, and B-2 bomber over Texas preparing to conquer America and slaughter the American people. The photograph above, left and below, videos from Stephen Quayle Reader in Texas help help to tell the story in pictures that can't be told by mere words alone, full of Abram tanks, APCs, Bradleys, and much more. This train was photographed heading east, just southeast of Abilene, Texas, and is just the latest sighting of heavy-duty military equipment on the move in America prior to the official start of JADE HELM 15, which starts on July 15th officially, even though it already officially or unofficially started on the 15th of June, which is already over a week ago, and coming end of America, and as explained in much more detail in the first video below, Alex Jones calls TPP America will be conquered tomorrow. In the second video below, the picture top right from the ANP reader Stacy White, we see a very low-flying B-52 bomber flying over Snyder, Texas. Again, the TPP, with all these shooting psyops that have recently happened, the TPP, the TPIP, which then got changed into the TPA, was getting pushed through Congress. It just got pushed through the other day. I think it was yesterday it got pushed through. So that's already going to affect us, unfortunately. All the psyop shootings were to distraction, like most of this is. Furthermore, loading up of these tanks and stuff, as I said in all these other videos that JADE HELM I've done, I don't believe anything that coming to July 15th there's going to be martial law. I think everything is preparing so that when they do the 2 or 3 false flags, or they might do a false flag, like I've said, about 1 or 2 dirty bombs going off, which would be some type of a nuclear event, or bombs that they say are nuclear, which aren't nuclear, because there's a lot of arguments that nuclear weapons don't really exist. That's a whole other argument, but they're at least going to go do 1 or 2 psyops with bombing, which will be a false flag, because then there'll be a provocation of war, and then they might also hit, at the very least, with 1 or 2 quote-unquote natural disasters, which will be man-made, which will be in the realm of most massive earthquakes, followed by tsunamis, which will devastate certain parts of the world and certain regions of the United States, where like a quarter or third of it is going to be destroyed. So that way they can have everyone in panic, so forth and so on, and then from there they can start to try and implement martial law. And then if they we also have the people, or the people's coming to, I think, New York, September 23rd, or coming to the States or something. I think it's coming to New York to deliver his encyclical or something. And there's also supposed to be an alien false flag psyop as well, which might correlate to when he comes, or roughly after he comes. To finish up, tying in perfectly, the 4th video below tells us recent events in South Carolina. Hillary Clinton is no longer satisfied with just going after the Confederate flag, which was born out of democracy, or Democratic flag, but anyway, but is now going after the guns as well. Is the preposition of military assets across the country prior to gun confiscation what JADE HELM 15 and all these military exercises across America are really about? Yes, it's about taking the guns out of people, disarming the people, and also about going against Christians, because they don't like Christians. I have nothing against Christians. I really don't care what your pious belief is. You can believe in a rock for all I care, as long as you're a good person. I don't care what you believe in, as long as you're not fanatical about it. Anything fanatical is negative. With the TPP giving the corporations a virtual dictatorship over the people of the world, Ellen Brown tells us in the 3rd video below with Greg Hunter that we really have no idea of knowing just how bad the trade deal is for people. Ellen tells us that the global corporations can now sue local governments for trying to protect the people against whatever they want to destroy, our economy, or our environment, our jobs. No longer a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, which was out of an address that, what would you call it? I don't know if it was a address, but it was Abraham Lincoln speaking, but it wasn't like an official address. He was talking. It was a kind of a small speech he gave where he said that it wasn't like a major address. A lot of people think it was like this major address, or in the Constitution, which it wasn't. We're getting a government of the corporations, by the corporations, and for the corporations. Yes, America is a corporation. That's why I call it a company. If you do your research, you will find out it is not a company. It was bought and paid for. Washington is actually the country, and the rest of the other 49 states that are within the United States, as they call it, is actually a corporation. That's why your name is in capital letters on your Social Security card, why your name is in capital letters on your birth certificate, and why your name is in capital on all bills, because you are a corporation. Capital letters mean corporation. When you have lowercase letters, it means you are a person of the republic, or a free person. That's why your names are always in capitals. While we agree that the thought of the United States soldiers firing upon American citizens sounds absolutely outrageous, this link story from Susan Dokos tells us how strongly that possibility really is, as the programming has gone on for years. Quite simply, U.S. patriots go against the trend toward globalism, global government, and satanic world religion, which is what it is satanic. Right now, the main thing standing in between a total global dictatorship and freedom are the armed American people, which is why they want to unarm people, because then you have a militia. You can create a militia, especially with the veterans coming back. They're allowed to have guns, so they want to disarm these people and also categorize them as crazy so they can't get weapons, so forth and so on. So that way the people can't fight back. If you have veterans coming back, they know how to train. They know tactical training. They were taught how to murder, how to kill. Mercenaries. Someone who goes out and or assassin goes out and gets money paid to kill. Well, if you're a soldier, technically that's what you are, and even if you don't do that and you never go into a firefight, you were still trained to do that anyway. And that's not disrespect to them. That's what the whole military is about. It's about training you to kill, to be a mercenary, period. With Hitler and Obama, both on record as saying they are between a total global, they want American guns. How long it will be before they make that final move that could quite easily propel the country into a civil war and possibly the deaths of 1 million more below videos. Well, we don't know. Who knows how they're going to do this with the JADE HELM, and who knows. I really don't think they're just going to go out and exterminate people and have martial law. Again, for the last time before in this video, I think they're going to do several false flags or a couple psyops of natural disasters and one false flag or two false flags and one or two major psyops of earthquakes, tsunamis that will put everyone begging and pleading for martial law, National Guard, military to come in to help us, to ration water, to ration food, to save us, because they'll leave us out there on our own. So that's the whole plan. Ultimately, they want us to beg them to help. So once we do that, we go to them begging, imploring, beseeching. They don't have to do anything. They destroy everything, and then you will come to them for all the help in the world. Once you do that, it's over. So that's the real essence of JADE HELM 15. Thanks for stopping by, tuning in. Be well, stay balanced. Namaste.